Hello and happy Wednesday, everybody. I wanted to talk to you today about something that might be a little controversial, but we'll see. So I want to talk about spiritual bypassing. That's been coming up a lot for me lately. I've had it come up with a few of my clients when I'm reading, not reading their energy, but I get messages sometimes when I'm doing energy sessions with clients. And I've also had it coming up just in my personal life a little bit and kind of a realization. A lot of times we're told spiritual bypass, oh, you can't be doing that, spiritual bypassing. You need to do it in a healthier way. So, for those of you who are wondering what spiritual bypassing is, the crude way of putting it, it's being toxically positive essentially. So you're not really acknowledging any of the hurt or anger or sadness or the icky feels, as I like to call them. And instead, you're just like, well, I just got to stay positive. Like, even though the world is shitting on me right now, I'm just going to be positive and not giving a voice or credence to maybe the fact that you might be angry or upset about something, or I just have to forgive so and so and I just need to move on, or I just need to forgive myself and move on. So you're negating the feelings and the thoughts that you're having. So spiritual bypassing long term, I would not recommend. But for the short term, I personally feel that there's nothing wrong with using spiritual bypassing as a temporary stepping stone for your self healing. I liken it to if somebody is really unwell, maybe they have an illness and their body is so sick that they can't quite fight it on their own. So sometimes they'll look to modern medicine for something. Maybe they'll look towards a Reiki or energy healer for something, something like that until they can handle it on their own with their body or with their mind or emotions. An example for myself was I experienced depression in my early 20s and I was prescribed antidepressants, which I did take, which did, it numbed me out, but it did allow me to take a step back and get more clarity on what was going on in my life at the time. And I was able to see some of the toxicity that was in my life that then allowed me to make choices and make changes in my life that were better for me, right? That made my life better. And then I was able to get off of the antidepressants and able to hold that energy or that vibration on my own by the environment or the reality that I created around me and within myself. Because as without, so within, and vice versa. So with spiritual bypassing, right now, I think a lot of you might still be feeling a lot of intensities. Things are still kind of coming up. I feel like for some of us right now, it feels like you're taking a really deep dive down to like the bottom of the ocean, like your emotions, some thoughts, old patterns, behaviors, things that you thought you were over are really coming up right now. And maybe you're thinking, oh man, I've already dealt with this. Why is this coming up again? Because you are at the stage that you are in your healing, you are able to face things in a new, in a stronger way, right? You're not the same version of yourself that you used to be. So even though you thought you may have dealt with it, what you really did was you did a little spiritual bypassing and you didn't really know you were doing it to yourself. And that's okay, right? You can only cope with something with where you're at. Okay. So maybe you're like, I'm just going to let it go. I'm just going to smudge it. I'm just going to meditate on it. I'm just going to let it go to the universe or whatever it is. And it was gone for a bit, but still it's kind of coming back because the deep, dark part of it needs addressed, right? You need to address the emotions. Like I say, you need to feel your feels. If you feel that anger, if you feel anxiety, if you feel sadness, those ones that, we typically, or guilt or shame, we try to avoid those. Sit with it. Try to fill your whole body with that, right? If you're feeling it, don't run from it. Look it in the eyeball, right? So that's where we're at right now. We're looking the icky feels right in the eyeball. And so that's why I want to talk about spiritual bypassing. I don't see anything wrong with using it temporarily. If you're kind of like in over your head, like, oh my gosh, like there's way too much going on right now. Don't use it all the time as your go-to, but if you're like, I just need to take that step back from my life or from that thought or from that feeling, just so I can get my bearings before I kind of go back into it. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with that. If you want to like imagine bundling it all up and kind of throwing it off into a black hole for now and transmuting it into, love and light, that's fine. But you will need to address the underlying emotion or thought or story or experience that is causing that to come into your life. So I just wanted to say that if you need to do that, you have my validation, provided that you'd use it so that you could take that step back, catch your breath, and then dive back in, right? You're taking that deep dive. And then you might feel like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy because there's so much water on top of you, right? You're at the bottom of the ocean down here. Take your time coming back up. Don't be like, oh fuck, I'm out of here, right? That's how you get the bends, right? You want to make sure your body is pressurized properly when you come back up to the surface. So the more healed you are, which you are, you're the most healed version of yourself right now, right? You're able to take a deeper dive and you're able to come back up. But you may not come back as fast as you used to because you're like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I used to be able to just like snap back like that. It's because you used to be diving down to here and up. That's easy. That's child's play. You're doing this. You're going way down and you're doing that work in the underworld, right? And you're coming back up and you don't want to fly back up. That's too much. It's too hard on the body. So you got to go back and nice and slow so you can integrate. So for those of you that are experiencing things right now that you think maybe we're done with, you are mostly done with it. There's just that last little bit you gotta do and gotta clean out. So be kind to yourself. And if you need just a little dip dive, come back up for air and then do the deep dive, that's okay. And if this just helps you with that visual of knowing, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just really down in here, really sorting my shit out. So it feels like I'm lost because it's really dark down here. Not as much light can come down here. That's okay. You are still light. A tiny little candle can still light up a very large dark area, right? When there's no light there, any tiny little light is going to make a huge, huge difference. So be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to adjust, to acclimate, and to slowly rise up naturally, okay? I know the ego mind always wants us just to be like pop right back and have all the good feelings all the time. I promise you the reward is worth it, okay? And you're going to be able to hold that vibration on your own in November. So right now is when you're getting all that help from the universe. So use that to your advantage. If you don't have the confidence to do it or you feel like it's overwhelming, like I said in other videos, borrow my confidence because you can do this, okay? You're not being given anything that you can't handle. You're being given this because you are a badass, right? You're a spiritual gangster and you signed up for this and you're here for it. And I'm here right next to you, cheering you on because I have my own shit too that comes up for me and that I deal with. And I have those days where I feel lost. I'm like, what am I doing? Who do I think I am? I thought I was over this. That stuff still comes up for me too. It comes up for all of us. But every time it does, it's a little different, right? I've leveled up that much more and I'm able to take that deeper dive and I can bring back so much treasure back up with me if I just take my time and slowly integrate as I'm coming back up to the surface. Okay, so that's my message for you today. I'd like, if anyone has anything they're going through in particular they'd like to share with the collective, I think it would be very valuable to comment below to let others know that they're not on their own. All right, so I've got, I didn't even tell you what deck I'm using today. It's a surprise deck. It's this one here, Crystal Spirits Oracle. I actually don't use this deck often because I'm not confident with the crystals. It's just not I love crystals. I use them in my energy healing, but I'm not, I don't naturally gravitate towards crystals like some other people do. I'm not as knowledgeable on that, so, but I was guided to draw and see what the crystals have to say today. Oh, well, I've got rose quartz, right? So I don't even need to look at the book for that one. Rose quartz, love, right? Self-love, supporting yourself in your journey. So rose quartz, that means the universe is validating that what you're doing is for you and do it with love. None of that shame stuff going, oh, I need to be better. Or, oh, like I said before, I thought I was over this, or I used to bounce back so fast, and what's wrong with me? I'm wallowing in the ick for so much longer now. Love yourself because You're a fucking badass spiritual gangster. And you're taking that nice deep dive down to do that extra healing to come back up nice and slow, healed. Okay. And it's always a process. So you're never done healing. So that's kind of like, oh, an eye roller. I know. But the journey is going to look different in the next 6 months to 12 months for all of us. And we're not going to have to go through the same things we're going through right now in the way that we're experiencing them. So in a way that's relieving, yes, but also it's almost like, you get addicted to what you're familiar with. We'll miss it a little bit, right? You remember the old days where we used to have to deal with stuff like that? So take advantage of it while you can. See this as an opportunity for yourself, okay? Use it to your advantage. So rose quartz, do it with love, okay? Love for yourself. That is naturally going to permeate out to the collective, okay? And don't worry, I'm a bad person because I'm being selfish and focusing on me and not other people. No, by healing yourself, you heal the collective, okay? When you tune into your natural vibration, your natural resonance, it amplifies it naturally, and it will have an effect on the collective and other people. All right, I'm going to do one more because I feel like this is for some of you. This next card feels like it may not apply to all of you, but some of you are looking for it. Okay, I don't even know how to say this one. Agarine. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. This one I'm going to need the book for. That's what it says there. It's the first card in the deck. Okay, so it means integrity, solidarity, impeccability, reliability, and consistency. Although we are always evolving, we all possess deeply held values that we do not have to compromise. Your personal integrity matters, so if you're feeling pressured to say yes when your heart says no, or to be something you're not, listen to the message the Spirit brings you. Now is a time to remember the importance of being reliable and impeccable with your word. If you really wanted to say no, don't say yes for now and try to correct your mistake later. People may struggle to accept your truth and your decisions, but stick to them. Be solid and consistent, because what matters to you deep down matters to the conscious universe who loves you. If you are feeling unsure, doubting whether you have a right to take a stand, become still and reconnect with the conscious universe through this crystal. It's not your job to protect everyone's feelings and keep the peace at all costs. You don't have to rush about smoothing everything over. Be at peace as you stand firm, for your deepest values are in sync with your purpose, and the conscious universe wants you to feel and be strong right now. So what that means is for some of you, the spiritual bypassing, I said, if you need to take that step back, not all of you need that, okay? So if you don't need it, don't do it. Keep going on your path. Keep doing your thing. Keep fucking leveling up. And also stay true to yourself with that love. All right, everybody. I hope you have an awesome rest of your evening, and I'll see you next week.